This is Python's Paradise out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, here on July 27th, 2021. This is your host, Greg Gilbert. And folks, I've interviewed four members of the cast of the Phantom of the Paradise, and I've heard a lot about Phantompalooza and the documentary Phantom of Winnipeg, because Winnipeg is really the hero of this film because when it came out, did not do that well. And I would have been 2 years old in 1974 when that came out. And I have the founder of Phantompalooza right out of Winnipeg. Yes, we have Gloria Dignazio. Did I say that right?
Yeah, some people say Dignazio. I say Dignazio. It's all good.
Dignazio, okay.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't have a Phantom of the Paradise shirt, but I got Jessica Harper right here on a Suspiria shirt that I got at Horrorama in 2017 in Toronto. So show us
Nice.
your shirt. Show us your Phantom in Winnipeg shirt. Look at it.
Phantom of Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. And of course, I got the Blu-ray. And I bet you got this too.
Of course.
Yep. This is a great Blu-ray, and I love this movie. And something else I'll show off here that I dug out just moments before we came on here, and I was like, here's something else I could show. That was really awesome.
Oh, autographed. Nice.
Jessica Harper, yeah.
Beautiful. Oh my goodness. Beautiful.
I got her Krabby cookbook here stashed away somewhere too.
That's awesome.
It took me 2 years to get her, but I kept at her and finally I got her, and I did a little research on her and discovered a few things about her and her brother health-wise, and it allowed me to better understand her for when I did do the interview. So
yeah, I watched all four. I don't know how I didn't know about these, but Phantompalooza Facebook page a couple of weeks ago posted your interview with Archie Hahn. And I watched it and it was like great. And then I see, you're talking about Peter. And then I watched Peter's interview, and then I had to go, thank you for sending me. And I watched Jessica's, and I just finished watching the Crow Lady, and excellent. But I was going to say, I have a contact if you still want to get a hold of Garrett.
Yes.
Beef. I have a contact that will definitely get in touch with him and see if he wants to do it, so
I would love to have Garrett on. Garrett's been in a lot of movies. I remember him best as Beef, but yeah, even small stuff like Kelly Maroney sent me a signed copy of Chopping Mall, and I forgot that Garrett Graham was in that for just one little scene. And even that one little scene, he's like great.
Yeah, he's a great, like a lot of people, like when we have Phantom screenings here, and when he comes on the stage, when he hits the movie, everybody claps, everybody goes nuts, and everybody knows the lines. Like Winnipeggers know, actually he said when he was here, he said Winnipeggers know every line of this movie backwards and forwards and backwards. Yeah. He says we know the movie better than them. We were actually educating the cast on certain things about the movie. Like, it was just excellent.
Well, I caught your comment on YouTube on my Jessica Harper interview. I did not know Bill Shepherd had passed.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. That was, I believe, not this past December, but the December before. And Susan Finley, William Finley's widow, has posted some really good stuff on. She tells about how they all met with that Dionysus, I can't say probably 69. And she might be somebody, if she'd be open to being interviewed. She knows all about that.
I
and
would
also
love to have her on. I have done uh, tribute interviews before. You know, I've had Alfred Hitchcock's granddaughter's been on here.
I gotta
Um,
watch that. Yeah.
yeah, it's in my 2016 list. I've
Okay.
had Audrey Hepburn's son has been on. That was 2017. That was out of
Okay.
Rome, Italy.
Wow.
I'm still in touch with Rowdy Roddy Piper's son and daughter. Well, his daughter.
Wow.
Um, I had Sarah Karloff and Bela Lugosi Jr. They've been on, and Miss 45, Zoe Tamerlis Lund. I did 4 tributes with her widow.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah, so I do that because I want to make them part of the show, and since I can't interview them, it's like, what? This is something that I can do. Like I had somebody that worked very, very, very closely with Ray Harryhausen come on and celebrate Clash of the Titans, and he's been on
Oh.
here 3 times. Yeah, and he knew Ray personally. Like I've seen pictures of them together. So
Mm.
I'd be open to having William Finley's widow on. Yep,
I'll make a
absolutely.
note. Yeah, I'll make a note of that. Cause, and maybe, yeah, also I know Bill Shepherd's widow, like maybe like the two of them could coordinate, but yeah, cause Bill Shepherd there, see, he's billed as the rock freak. He makes the end of that scene, like you said, his eyes just, he's so like Bill, according to Susan Finley, Brian De Palma told them just go wild, and they do. That's all natural. They just go crazy. But Bill Shepherd, crawling beside William and just amazing. You can't take your eyes off the guy.
And he gets up and he's like looking around and looking around. Is this for real? Is this a play? And then he just goes with it, and you see him do the whole clap and spin around. I love that. And yeah, he stands right out. Yes, he does.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry he's gone. I did message him back after I did one of those interviews and never heard back. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'd be open to having the widow, even with William Finley. Like when he was in Black Dahlia for Topama briefly, there I was like, oh, it's the Phantom, you know.
Hmm.
So it's sad they're gone,
Yeah.
but this is still a way to make them part of it. And of course, the Phantompalooza was mentioned in some of those interviews as well. So
Well, we were told, like, with Phantompalooza, I asked one of our committee members, Doug Carlson, after Phantompalooza 2, which was in April 2006,
mhm.
when we had the whole cast here, everybody except George Mamoli, of course, and Brian De Palma, because he was shooting the Black Dahlia. But yeah, the stories that we heard just, well, I said to Doug after Phantompalooza 2, because what happened was there's a director named Stephen Kessler, and he made a documentary called Paul Williams Still Alive, because he thought Paul Williams was dead. So he Googled him, found out he was going to be here in Winnipeg for Phantompalooza 2. He brought a whole camera crew, filmed him here. The opening scene of Paul Williams Still Alive shows him in the back of the Garrick Theater, where we all saw the movie as a kid. So it opens up here in Winnipeg. But, there's a whole history there of Winnipeg and the association. So Paul Williams now says that it's because of that, Phantompalooza 2, and the filming that led to him being on the Random Access Memory album with Daft Punk, because those two guys are huge fans of the movie. So he says Phantompalooza actually resurrected his career, and he says that in interviews. So he says Winnipeg and Phantompalooza resurrected his career. He gives us credit.
You know, it's funny you mentioned Paul Williams. I was sitting down the movie theater back 2 or 3 years ago, and I was watching a movie called Baby Driver.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, and I was enjoying the movie immensely. But there was one scene where somebody shows up in a white suit selling guns, and he's comparing them to various meats and stuff. I'm
Yeah,
assuming you saw the movie.
of course.
Oh my goodness. And I perked up in my seat. It was like, it's Paul Williams. It's Swan.
I know. I know. He's great. I just can't. I mean, I don't know where you want to start, but I mean, I have him on my cell phone now. Sometimes he texts me like I'm still like, I have it, Paul Williams in brackets Swan. And when he was here in 2017, I had lunch with him and he actually phoned me. And I remember seeing it come up on my thing and I go, the guy, the gentleman I was seeing at the time, I go, what do I do? What do I do? And he goes, answer it. But I was just freaking out because even though people think, but I'm still a fan. Like when I do screenings, I never miss it. I always sit down and watch it because I love the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love the movie too. I heard rumor that Horrorama in Toronto wanted to get Jessica Harper and Paul Williams at that event, and scheduling had affected Paul Williams not able to make it. And I forget what Jessica's reason was. She probably would have came if Paul Williams came, but I just
Well,
started do yeah. I just
when they
started.
were, yeah, when they were here in 2006, when we had the whole cast,
Mm-hmm.
Paul Williams and Jessica sang Old Souls, and Paul Williams came on stage and sang it with her. We have a DVD, and it's a concert. Somebody made a film out of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so beautiful. And actually, I saw them. A few of us saw them rehearsing in the afternoon, and you should have seen when they saw each other again, like kind of on the stage rehearsing, and when they were singing Old Souls, they were crying and we were crying. Like people were like tears of joy. It was so amazing.
Oh, fantastic. Well, as I said, I would have been 2 years old in 1974 when this movie came out, and of course, it didn't do well that year. And of course, the Rocky Horror Picture Show came out the year after, and that really hit the midnight circuit and did well. I'm really glad that I discovered this film where I discovered a lot of movies on the compilation uh, documentary called Terror in the Isles.
Okay.
That was where I discovered. It's where I discovered Miss 45. It's where I discovered this and various other films. And I just remember they had that shot of Beef and the Plunger, and a reference to Hitchcock's Psycho, which I thought was funny. And I was like, I really loved the mask and stuff. And I was like, when did you first catch wind of this movie? Did you see it in the theaters in 1974, or were you?
Okay, there's a story there. Okay, it was the first movie I ever saw when I was 11 years old, and it was on my first date. So I brought my two girlfriends because I was scared, like a boy asked me out on a date. And we went to the Garrick Theater. That's where it was shown here in Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm.
And I still remember where we sat. I remember sitting down. And I remember as soon as it started with the Death Records Birdie and Rod Serling's voice, I was gone. I went into another dimension. I actually don't remember anything else, just seeing the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember because my parents were strict. You got to think back, like I was 11 in 1974. And I remember I snuck out. I saw it a few more times because back then you could stay and see the movie over. Like as soon as it finished, the way it ends, it makes you want to see it again, with the green shag carpeting and the credits, and they're playing the hell of it. Well, I wanted to see it again. So that's what I did. And I mean, we got the soundtrack. The soundtrack went gold, specifically Peter's or Harold Oblong's song, Somebody Super Like You.
I
The
love
single
it.
went gold solely exclusively because of Winnipeg sales. That's how much, like Winnipeggers, I know it bombed everywhere else, but you probably know Winnipeg and Paris. It ran for
Mm-hmm.
Paris 10 years, but also El Salvador is still huge in El Salvador. And you know how they have that grocery store music playing like in Canada or whatever? They're in El Salvador because I'm Facebook friends with a fan there. They play it in the grocery stores in El Salvador, the soundtrack.
Love it, love it. This is such a unique movie for Brian De Palma, even, because I mean, De Palma had a musical segment in Body Double,
I love, that's my second favorite De Palma movie is Body Double. I love it.
I've interviewed Deborah Shelton from that movie.
When did you do that? Because I
That
gotta
was in
see that.
2016, and people
Oh,
even now are asking how I did that. Somebody in Canada represented her and
Okay.
put me in touch with her. She is very old school in terms of communication. Like I did hers by phone at the station. Um,
Oh yeah.
she does not have email or anything like that. She's
Wow.
one of these people that still writes stuff down. So I don't
Yeah.
know if I could ever get a Zoom with her, you know.
Yeah.
But
Oh, she's so beautiful. She was so great. I love that movie, the way it's shot. The house, actually, I went to LA in let's see, after Phantompalooza 2. I didn't get in to make money. In fact, I had no money. That's a whole other story if you want to hear about it. But
yep.
we made enough money to I think myself and 3 other Phantompalooza committee members went to LA to try to get Paul Williams to come to Winnipeg for Phantompalooza 2. And we did. We flew down there, and I mean, I just have so many stories. But one of our committee members, Ari, who runs the Swan Archives website, which is the premier must see for any Phantom fan. That is an excellent site. He surprised me one night. He goes, "Come on, I'm going to take you somewhere. We keep going up these hills, you know, it's the City of Lights." And then he makes me close my eyes. We get out of the car. He goes, "Okay, Gloria, look." And I look, and it's that house, the house from Body Double. And I couldn't believe I was looking at it. Anyway, I have a picture. It's from like, you know, like this is like 2005. So it's an old camera. So there's a picture of me going like this. But when we developed it, you can't see the house, but it's there.
My favorite De Palma movie is Dressed to Kill.
You know, I've seen bits of, you know, I got to go on a Brian De Palma thing and watch so many movies. I've only seen bits and parts of that, but now that
Oh, I
you said
love
about
that. That's my
William
favorite.
doing the voice of Bobby, like I must hear that. I have to hear that.
Yeah, because you don't see William Finley, but you do hear his voice.
Mhm.
Yep. I
Yeah.
love Dress to Kill, and of course I love Carrie, and of course you see him in The Fury briefly,
Mhm.
and Sisters I enjoyed. He was in Sisters, of course. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
him and Brian De Palma were close. Like when he passed, which was so sad. Oh, that was devastating to me when I found out he passed. But um, Brian De Palma couldn't make it to the service. I guess he was shooting a movie somewhere, I believe. But he one of our committee members was there and read out, you know, kind of a tribute to him and stuff. But I believe Brian is, yeah, godfather to William and Susan's son Dash. Like that's how close they were. That part was written specifically for Bill Finley to launch his career. That he should have gotten an Academy Award for the dual roles of Winslow Leach slash the Phantom. And
Hmm.
that was supposed to launch his career. That's why when he came here for the first time for Phantompalooza 1 in April 2005, him and Garrett Graham came. They were treated like rock stars. I could tell you stories like fans actually cornered them, and they ended up in this the hotel. We had a big social after the event, and the fans couldn't wait to see them. They actually got cornered in this. It was like where you put your coats, like a coat check, and fans just swarmed them, and they loved it. And fans brought plungers. I thought it was such a great idea. Fans brought all these plungers, and and that's when Bill said, like, he did a lot of press here. We put him up at the fancy hotel. Oh no, that was the second year, the super fancy hotel. The first year is another story. But Bill says at the end to me, he goes, you know, Gloria, I had so much fun. And he's like a little kid, you know, and he goes, we got to do it again next year, but you got to bring the whole cast. And I remember him saying it. I remember it was like, oh, like angels, like, okay, Bill, whatever you say. And that's why we went off to Santa Monica shortly after Phantompalooza 1, because we found out Paul Williams was going to be at a screening in Santa Monica of Phantom of the Paradise. And that's where we first time I met Paul Williams. And he knew all about us in Winnipeg. And then he put us in touch with Jessica. And then I remember meeting Archie at this kind of, it was like a Denny's restaurant. And you should have seen when Archie came in, he was kind of like, he kind of was like, who are these weird people? Like, and then we proved to him we weren't crazy. and we had merchandise like t-shirts and stuff, and we were telling him that we have a radio promo here, and the place is going to be packed. You guys are going to be treated like rock stars, and they came, and we were right, and they love it here. They've been here a couple times, and they are treated like the rock stars and the actors that they should have been when the movie first came out.
Yeah. Well, I love the movie. It's nice and innovative, you know. Um, I am a big fan of Brian De Palma. I like his horror films best, and I classify this as a horror musical. I'm not a I don't care for Mission to Mars, and I didn't even like Mission Impossible. I think they got better as they went, mind you, but De Palma, to me, I liked him best when he did the thrillers and the horror films like Your Dress to Kill and Sisters and innovative stuff like Phantom of the Paradise, you know? Did you
Oh,
meet
I mean,
did you meet Brian?
no, he's the only one. Actually, I was working with the special events coordinator here with the city, and he messages me one day, and he said, "Yeah, you got to keep this under your hat, but Brian's going to be here, and we've got a house for him and all this stuff." And I'm thinking, oh my God, like I went to LA and I went to go hang out at the Ivy there. That's where I heard his favorite restaurant was. We didn't catch him there. I thought, oh my goddess, are you serious? He's actually coming here to Winnipeg. But then it ended up, he was going to make a movie with Ashton Kutcher. I can't remember the name of it. But I thought, oh, thanks, universe. Like you're bringing him here, like perfect place. But unfortunately, I don't know what happened. It fell through and it never came. And then I was so disappointed. I really, really wanted him to come when the whole cast was here in 2006, because the whole cast, that's the first time they had seen each other, like basically since the movie came out. I'll never forget being at this fancy hotel here called the Fairmont. And it was pretty, high end. It went like A+ with these guys. And I remember every time the door opened, Greg, it was unbelievable. There was like star after star after star. It was unbelievable. But I think he was shooting like the Black Dahlia and Bulgaria or whatever. And, we had heard, kind of a little disappointing that he's a little grumpy. He's kind of like, because the movie bombed, he was pretty obviously upset. It was supposed to be a big hit when it came out. And I just wish he could have came here, because we wanted to show him how much love we have. So I know he knows about us and all that, but so no, I haven't met him, but I'd love to. I just want to thank him, because the movies brought me so much joy. Like seeing it as a little girl when I was 11, I never thought 30 years later that I do this event, and then it was so synchronistic, and now I know the whole cast. It's taken me to LA a couple times. Went to Dallas to the Majestic Theater. I went to Montreal and New York for the Canadian and US premieres. There's a documentary made about Winnipeggers
I
love of the movie
know.
now, like
Phantom of Winnipeg.
Phantom of Winnipeg. And it's
Hmm.
good. It's an actual movie. And they did such a good job. Malcolm Ingram and Sean Stanley. It actually won Best Documentary at the Montreal, the Film Festival. And in New York, it got rave reviews. Like there was a red carpet, and I've always pictured this. There was a red carpet, and when the screening ended, fans saw it and were asking us for autographs.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And then Paul Williams was there at the New York. It was in Terrytown, this beautiful scenic town near New York. And I was thinking, they asked us to come up on stage. Like 7 of us Winnipeggers flew down, I think for Montreal, and a few of us went to New York. And Paul Williams is up on stage with us. I think that's maybe the 5th time I've met him now, which is always great. And I was thinking, and I actually said out loud, I said, I never pictured as an 11-year-old girl watching this movie that 40 years later, 45 years later, Paul Williams Swan is now watching us as we're telling our stories about watching him and the movie. Full circle, full circle.
Paul Williams plays such an imposing character as Swan. It's so funny seeing him go from this to seeing him in Smokey and the Bandit, where Burt Reynolds lifts his cowboy hat out and laughs at him.
I know, because listen, Swan, actually for me, okay, as an 11-year-old girl, like, you know, the orgy kind of in the bed scene. I didn't get that when I was 11, but
Hmm.
he was my first crush besides the Bay City Rollers. I still love the Bay City Rollers. But Swan with that feathered hair, I love him. He was sexy. And so yeah, all the girls like Swan, and like my twin brother loves the movie. So all the guys like Phoenix, Jessica Harper, right? This little
Oh,
something for
I
every.
love Jessica Harper.
Yeah, she's so
That's
cute. She's so beautiful.
that scene on the bed, you know what that was taken from?
What's that from?
Beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
Okay. I've
Uh,
heard that, but I haven't seen that movie. So,
I've interviewed 3 of the participants from Beyond the Valley of
oh,
the Dolls. I mean, even Austin Powers made that reference. Yeah, that all came from Beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
oh, okay. It's
Yeah.
beautifully done. Like I love, you know what? I love every second of Phantom of the Paradise, but I've heard you in the other inch. But my favorite part is, yeah, somebody super like you right from the beginning with the guitar. Like I still get butterflies, and I've seen this movie lots.
Hmm.
I still get the same feeling as that little girl when I was 11. I love somebody super like you. And then when I met Peter, I got to tell him. And then they did it when they were here in Winnipeg. They've done it twice here.
Wow.
Like you guys, oh, it's so great to see. Like I have a band here in Winnipeg called Swanage, and
Yeah.
they do the soundtrack to perfection. Like, well, they with the Juicy Fruits, the last time the Juicy Fruits were the three of them, you know, they needed help from Swanage because they were a little nervous and stuff. But they did the makeup, they did the black and white makeup. They came on. There's some videos of it. And the fans went nuts. Oh, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, I got 2 of them. Jeffrey, I never did get hold of, he never responded, but I
Okay,
did get
I'm friends with Jeffrey. Yep.
okay. Put me in touch
I'm sure
because
Jeffrey.
yeah,
Yeah,
but I
you
did
have to talk to Jeffrey.
yeah, because I was so happy to get the other 2, and it was Peter that put me in touch with Archie, and
Okay.
yeah, and he put me in touch sort of with Jeffrey, but Jeffrey just didn't respond. But I was very
Okay.
happy, and
I'll do my
Jessica,
best. You know, I'll
yeah,
do my best. Like maybe, but I mean, our experience here with us in Winnipeg is like, let's put it this way: when we had a really hard time. Like this all started with this all started with one thought back in 2004. And
hmm,
I was sitting at work one day and it was boring. It was a Friday afternoon. And I thought, I can't be the only Phantom of the Paradise fan. I'm just going to Google it, right? I Google it and I find this guy's site in Calgary. I remember it was a guy named Larry and he had a picture of Swan and Paul Williams had signed it. It said, "Trust me, Swan," in red ink. And I was so jealous, like in a good way. I was like, oh my God. So I made a comment. Oh my God, I love your site and this and that. And then shortly after, because that was Phantom's 25-year anniversary, I get a call from a Winnipeg Free Press reporter. He saw my comment on the site and he wanted to know, it was on my answering machine. He wanted to know if he could interview me. So I end up talking to him. I'm there, of course. And then I mentioned to him, I said, oh, my 9-year-old son at the time was 9. I go, we have matching Death Record shirts. I don't know. It just kind of came up. Do you have any? So as soon as I said that, the guy goes, oh, so he does this article and he goes, can we send a photographer? And I said, sure. So it ended up coming out in Saturday's Winnipeg Free Press. I have it on my wall here, December 2004.
hmm.
Well, that's the most popular paper that everyone reads Saturday. I'm telling you, 8 o'clock in the morning, my phone's ringing off the hook. I guess my number was still in the phone book back then. And it was all these guys my age and they wanted Death Record shirt that we were wearing, right? And that's how we formed the Phantompalooza committee. There's certain guys that called and we just kind of connected. And when I read the article, it said in there, the owners, it talked about how we all used to see it at the Garrick Theater when we were kids. And it said in there that the manager had no idea about it. He said, it'd be really cool to have a screening here and stuff. And as soon as I read that, you have an epiphany. And I thought, why not? But I didn't know anything about doing an event or whatever. Well, the right people came to me, these 4 guys, and like, I didn't have any money. I didn't put a penny into the event, nothing. It was all synchronistic. So one guy did our website. One guy did like to do with our tech and our sound. Like we each had a role and I ended up doing the media. So complete strangers got together at the little Tim Hortons coffee shop on Portage Avenue here, and that's how Phantompalooza was born.
Wow.
But it
Wow.
started from one thought, one Friday afternoon going, I'm bored and I can't be the only fan. I don't know if that would have, it's really, you know, our thoughts create reality. Our thoughts are powerful. I'm so glad I had that thought. And then the right people came to me, because it wasn't just me that did it. These guys, these 4 or 5 guys, like we worked as a team and we pulled it off, and we brought William and Garrett Graham here, and they loved it. They absolutely loved it.
Show the record. I know you got it right there. Show it off for us.
This is my original vinyl, my original that I bought.
Look at that.
It's
That
pretty
is
beat up. It's pretty beat up. Like I have it on. I have my turntable. I have my original stereo, not the original turntable, but I still have my original. But it's pretty beat up. But this is my favorite. I think this was my first album. And then I got like Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare.
Oh, I've got that.
Yeah, so those are my first 2 albums.
Yeah, Welcome to My Nightmare came out the year after.
That's right.
Yeah.
And, you know, of course, Alice Cooper, shock rock, and I love him. I just met him a couple years ago, too. He was on my bucket list. I finally met him. But, you know, the soundtrack, it was ahead of its time. Like, this rocks. But when I met, when I had lunch with him and with other people in 2017, he actually, I walked into the restaurant and he goes, Gloria, come, because I think this was the 3rd time I met him now. He goes, Gloria, and he pats the seat beside me. Come sit down right beside me. I was like,
Who was it?
like that. Like he says, Gloria, come and sit right beside me.
Yeah, but who was it that said it?
Paul Williams.
Oh, Paul Williams. Oh my.
He came here in 2017 for our last Phantom. It was called Phantom at the Met 5. So I'm like a giddy, like that 11-year-old girl. So I'm sitting beside him, right? And I actually said to him, because my brother said, you got to ask him how he, you know, how did you come up with this music? Because how do you go from something like Old Souls to Life at Last, you know? And I asked him, and I was in such like, I was still like, I think he said he was playing at some Ramada Inn or something, or he rented. He was kind of holed away up in some place writing this. But my brother told me that there was a story that he wrote it in this kind of mansion and it was haunted. So who knows? But it's like a puzzle, and every song blends. It's in order. It goes together, and it's a masterpiece.
And he even performed with the Muppets.
Yes. Well, Paul Williams, he said in that Still Alive documentary, he was on Johnny Carson's show 50 times and doesn't remember any of them.
Wow. Well, he
because
remembers
of his,
this.
you know, he's come out about. Yeah, but he's been he's a drug and rehabilitation counselor now for like 20 years. He's been clean and sober, but he's very transparent, and he says that he wasn't very nice really in those days, but he's come a long way. He's a really nice man. He says he says Winnipeg is the spiritual epicenter of North America, because he's very spiritual and grounded because of his experiences coming off you know, the drugs and the booze. So he's really grounded. And I always say, like, people say, how come Winnipeg? I go, it's in our souls. Like, we love music. And it's, if I always say to somebody who hasn't seen it, I go, like, were you born in Winnipeg? They go, yeah. I go, you'll love it. Like, you just have to if you come from Winnipeg.
Now, I also know you have a phantom mask there. Will you show that to us?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
This is my baby.
Look at that.
And it's actually, I've got signed by everybody except Jessica. Let's see here. I've got, yeah, Garrett, William, Archie, Peter, Paul, and Dr. Jeff. The only one, this is my phantom wall here behind me.
Look at that.
I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah, I could see it. The poster.
This here's the original article I was telling you about that
Yeah,
started it all with my son and I.
yeah.
Here's all the Phantom at the Met, like with the juicy fruits, and this is the band Swanage.
Uh-huh.
Uh, oh, this is a picture when Paul came here
Oh,
with the newspaper
beautiful.
article. And then this one here is in LA when I saw him in LA. This is when he was here 2006 with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I've got, sorry, here's Paul and Jessica when they were both here in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's me and Garrett on the left in LA, and that's me and Peter in the right here in Winnipeg.
Wow.
So yeah,
Do you ever put the Phantom mask on?
I have. Yeah. I don't like I used to bring it to events, but then everybody would want to wear it. There was some like drunk people, and like it actually dropped once, and I was like, no, we can't have this. Like, this is the committee member, the Phantompalooza committee members got me this after Phantompalooza 1. They surprised me with it. I couldn't believe it. And there was a local guy here in Winnipeg that actually made them. I believe his name's Todd. He's in the Phantom of Winnipeg documentary, and it's scaled perfectly. Like it looks like the one in the movie. But when I went to New York
Your sound is on kind of scratchy right now.
Oh, okay. Is this better? Maybe I'll just put on my headphones then. I don't know what moved.
Well, I know when you moved your thing, it came back and it was
a little off.
There you go. There you go. There you're good now.
Is that good?
Yep, that's fantastic.
Okay.
But yeah, I had to see that because like, where did you get that Phantom mask?
Well, the Phantom mask was presented to me by the Phantompalooza committee members after Phantompalooza 1 in 2005, and a local guy named Todd. They surprised me, and they got it made for me, and then I got, let's see now, is that when I got? Yeah, I got William and Garrett to sign it the first year. And then when they all came, I was going to bring it because I wanted the whole cast to sign it, but I was scared somebody would steal it because it's Winnipeg. Like, this is coveted. Like, this would be wanted by every fan. So, because I was so busy, I didn't want to like put it down and it go missing. So I was paranoid. But then when the Juicy Fruits came back, I got them to sign it, and Jessica, yeah, no, the only one I'm missing is Jessica. That's why I keep telling her I need her to come back here because I need her to sign the helmet.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Oh, it must have been quite a thing to meet Paul Williams. What a terrific talent, and it's nice to see him still active. And yeah, I'm glad you still got that connection.
He's so great, he's lovely, man. Like, he really cares about us here in Winnipeg. Like, there's a couple of fans, he'll actually contact them on their birthdays, and he's actually even helped me out personally. I was going through a rough time in 2018. I don't really want to get into it, but
okay.
like, he's my friend. He actually helped me out twice, and he's my, I can say he's actually my friend. Like, and he's an A-lister now. He doesn't have to be talking to any of us Winnipeggers, but he knows where it came from, and he reciprocates the love back to us.
Yeah, I was so happy. Like I said, it took me 2 years to get Jessica Harper on, and she agreed first. It's just a matter of scheduling.
Yeah.
And she has this condition called PXE, which yeah, and I was just kind of looking that up while I just waiting to hear back from her, and it's like, what is this? What is this? And she's got her blog on there and whatnot, and what had happened is during that time, I had made a donation to PXE International. Because one thing I know, I've had people, I find it strengthens your connection, And for me, I just kind of did it. And somebody from it got back to me and thanked me for the donation, and then I'd say about 5 minutes later, I got another email saying, "Oh, we see you did donate in honor of Jessica Harper. We will make sure we'll make sure she sees this." Anyway, I'm on my way to work, and I'm at a red light, and my phone dings, and I look at it, and there's an email from Jessica Harper, and I was so
Cool.
thrilled, and it still took us a little bit, about another, I don't know, 6 months or something, but December 2017, I got her on, and I was so happy to get her. I'm hoping to get her back again at some point, but
Mhm.
we'll see. And I sent a self-addressed stamped envelope and she signed a couple pictures for me. So
That's
yeah,
wonderful.
I
She's a
act,
nice lady.
oh,
Mhm.
I love Jessica, and it was kind of funny seeing the stuff she's doing during the pandemic. She has videos on Facebook of um, I guess her husband doing the kind of stuff around the house that she usually does.
Oh, yeah.
And there was one that just made me laugh out loud, where he was unloading the dishwasher. I think he held something up, goes, "What is this?" And of course, something that she would have used, but he had no idea what it is.
Yeah.
I just got chuckle out of it. So
She's so, when she came here in 2006, well, my brother was beside himself, eh? Because we didn't know at the time, or I can't remember now, maybe we knew, but I didn't know she was a twin. And then I have a twin brother, and he's a huge fan, right? So I actually have a picture of the two of them together, and she looked so cute. She still is so beautiful. So of course, all the guys want pictures with her, right? And man, she sang, oh man, Old Souls. Like actually, I was standing like an evening performance,
hmm.
and Paul brought his Dave Garland, the original keyboard guy that actually plays. You see him in the scene where she's rehearsing Special to Me.
Okay.
That's Dave Garland, and Paul Williams brought Dave Garland here. He brought his
Mhm.
band with him. So it was really amazing because just okay, so she's singing Old Souls and it's packed. I think there was 600 people in the Garrick Theater, and there was this big burly biker guy standing beside me, and he was crying. Like it was, and then Paul Williams broke down not once but twice. He was so overcome because again, the movie bombed. They never got the accolades they should have got when this premiered. I mean, I heard those guys say about when it was the premiere, they went in the limo, and then when they left, there was nobody there. Like, no, we got them all of that, and they were overcome with emotion. To this day, I still remember the first time we went to LA and I met Peter in Venice Beach. We did, a couple of the committee members, and you could tell they're just a little bit like, who are these people from Winnipeg? And are we going to show it on a bed sheet in someone's basement? We kept telling them, no, you guys, we got last year. And then William and Garrett would tell them, no, you guys, Gloria and Phantompalooza, they're not lying. You guys are going to love this. So based on that, they came. And even with William, apparently we had a hard time finding him. And one of our committee members managed, he's a movie buff, and he managed to, I don't know how he found him, but he did. And I remember contacting William, and I used all these exclamation marks, and he would say in later interviews, because I didn't know this, but he had some fans that were stalkers. So he's really careful what conventions he attends. Plus, he's scared of flying, and he thought it was going to be somebody showing it in a bed sheet in someone's basement. And I kept telling him, no, we got this in the theater, and we got promo, and it's sold out. The afternoon screening sold out. We had an evening one. There's a Q&A. So Susan Finley, if you interview her, she'll tell you the whole story. But he said, based on my emails and my exclamation marks, he goes, F it, I'm going to go. And he's so glad. I'm so glad he came here, because who knew he was going to pass in 2012? So he got to experience not once, but twice. And I'm telling you, he loved every second of it. He loved it. So he finally got the love and the accolades that he deserved.
Did he put the phantom mask on?
I don't know if he did. I'm pretty sure he must have. But one of our committee members, Rod, who's the connection to Garrett, actually made a full scale mannequin. It looks
Uh-huh.
perfect. he even went to an optometrist and got the eyeball. Like I think he still got it. It's perfect. Like, so, and there's pictures. I have lots of pictures. If you ever wanted to see, like, I have so many pictures and memories, but they're the real deal. The cast loves us and we love them. So and I'm hoping to do another event like the band Swanage played last year. And it was, people come dressed up like Garrett, like with the red thing all ripped up and as the undead and we know every word and everybody loves each other. It's like a big family reunion. If you got to come to Winnipeg and see it here in Winnipeg. It's like nothing else.
It's baby steps for me. Hold that thought, because it's funny you mentioned Phantom of the Paradise not doing well when it came out. I always argue with people that say it's box office that determines whether films are good. Yeah, that's why so many people like Phantom Menace now, you know? It's funny because there are films that did not do well initially that have huge followings now. Look at The Big Lebowski. The highest grossing film that year was Armageddon. And yet The Big Lebowski, people are like, nobody's talking about Armageddon, and I don't blame them. It was pretty bad. But The Big Lebowski, look at it now.
Yeah.
Or a movie like Office Space, which didn't do well when it came out, and it's got a big following now, you know? There are movies like that, you know? And
they're like fine wines, right? Fine wines with time, eh? Like actually when I went in 2014, because with that Blu-ray that you held up, I think it's done by Scream Factory, I can't quite remember, but they had a screening at the Dome in Hollywood, and there was 1,000 people there, including the whole cast and Edgar Wright.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of movie? I thought, what 40-year-old movie draws 1,000? And I traveled, so other people traveled. It was amazing. The whole cast was there. What other movie that's 40 years old will attract 1,000 fans to the Dome in Hollywood?
40 years old? Let me see. Well, we are in 1981, so Raiders of the Lost Ark came out that year. That would probably do it.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what? It's only a select few, you know, and for a movie like, and I love it that there's a whole new generation. Like when I went to, New York and Montreal for the premiere of Phantom of Winnipeg, there's all these people and they're young. And I say it's because of good parenting. The parents love the soundtrack, so then the kids love it. These kids love the movie, and it's great because, you know, we wanted to continue on for them. But it's so awesome that this documentary was made about it. And like I said, it's really well done. Hopefully it'll get released at some point. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with it because again, it was on a roll there and tons of fans want to see it and they keep asking because it's really quite excellent. It's really, really well done and every Phantom fan should see it.
Yeah. And we touched on Jessica Harper and we touched on the band. We got to talk a little more about Garrett Graham.
I've got some stories about Garrett.
Garrett Graham's a funny dude.
You know what? When he came here for the first time, we went to meet him at the airport and we were all giddy. Like it was our first, you know what I mean? It was a big deal. And it was funny because we took him to this hotel. It wasn't like, you know, again, it was our first event. It wasn't like a high end, but it was okay. And it was funny because I think my brother was with me, but we took him into this room and we're telling him all about it and stuff. And then we go to open up the curtains, telling him about the view, and it's a brick wall. So it looks like in the movie when they brick in Winslow.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. So I quickly shut the eyes. Oh, okay. And I think we moved them to another room or something. Or the other window that we moved, the other room we moved him to, there was like a sex boutique down there. So he liked that. He said it was a good view. Like we told him about the wall, but we didn't, the brick wall. We were just getting to know him, but he had a great time. I had him in my car. My brother actually said I should have kept the car seat from that car when I sold it. because Garrett Graham was in my car. And actually, I'll never forget. I guess, yeah, William Finley got a hold of Garrett 2005. So they came here together because they were both in New York. And I remember another time I came home from work and I had Garrett on my answering machine. I wish I still had it. And you know what he said to me? He said, the line from the movie, he said, about the possessed. He said it on my answering machine, and I wish I still had it. I think my brother recorded it, and it's on one of his cassettes. But he said that line to me on the answering machine.
I bet you never let him go near a used cars lot.
Oh, he's great in that movie. Oh, actually, no, I mixed up. No, he said on the machine, he goes, "Look, Gloria, I am a professional." That's what he said. That's what he said. But do you want to hear a story about Ray Kennedy? Ray Kennedy, who sings "Life at Last," because Garrett
Sure.
lips it. Okay, because I actually have to go at 8, but I'll tell you. Okay, I was doing one of my events with my fellow committee member Del Penu, great guy, and so same thing. We're trying to get a hold of Ray Kennedy. We had a hard time. I forget. So Del would know more about this. But anyway, the long and short of it, I finally heard from him. He called me on a cold February day here in Winnipeg, and I couldn't believe it was him, right? I remember I went down on my knees. I couldn't believe it was him. And he was telling me stories about, he was really well known. And, he wrote 2 songs for the Babies. I love that band, the Babies, as well. And he actually sang over the phone to me. He went, "Life at last, salutations from the other side." Like Ray Kennedy sang it to me. Anyway, so we were going to bring him to Winnipeg, and he was so excited. We were going to surprise the fans, and I had a friend that was going to make a lightning bolt, and it was going to come down, and we're going to do all this stuff. And then February 14th I can't remember exactly the year now, but I remember going on Facebook and seeing this thing, RIP Ray Kennedy. And I'm thinking, I go, not my Ray Kennedy, because we had talked like 3 or 4 times and we kind of really bonded. I just felt a rock and roll connection with him, right? And he trusted me and I trusted him. And I see this post, RIP Ray Kennedy. I go, not my Ray Kennedy. It's got to be. So I'm Googling. There's a soccer player and a country singer, and I was hoping it's them, right? And then to my utter horror, I find out, no, it was Ray Kennedy passed away. So it was devastating because it would have been such an event here. Can you imagine Ray Kennedy's the voice of beef, right? So I was pretty devastated about that because he told me some good stories, like partying with Led Zeppelin and different things, and he would have shared that with the fans. So I ended up getting in contact with his sister, and his sister gave me a lot of information about him. I tried to find out if she had anything from the Phantom memorabilia. It doesn't sound like she did. But, because a lot of people love that song so much and they got to know it's him that sang it. But Garrett also has his side, which is that, in the shower scene, that's Garrett's voice. That's him singing. So he's kind of, I think sometimes him and Paul have gotten into it about even the Q&A in Terrytown near New York a couple of years ago. They kind of got into it because, Paul said to him, "I'm sorry, Garrett, I should have had you sing it because you could have done it." And Garrett wanted to do it, right? But when Garrett was here, and was that the second one? Yeah. I believe it was the second Phantompalooza. He actually sang "Life at Last." I have it on tape here on the video. And he even they gave him like this mic stand made out of whatever wood, and he broke the mic stand. And then my fellow committee member, Doug, came out with this plate. It looked like a heaping plate of cocaine. And then Garrett was like putting it up his nose. It was hilarious. But he finally sang it, and he sang it for Winnipeg audience.
Wow. These are wonderful stories, Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on my list for 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, because that way, we can sequelize it there next year. So I'm going to put you on my list.
I
for
love that.
yeah, and we'll have you back and hear more because I know you've got more.
Oh,
And
I've got more. I got to write a book. People say, you got to write a book. I've got so many Phantom stories, and the fans have stories. It's not just me, Greg. It's so many people. Like, uh, uh, there's so many Winnipeggers. We each have our memories of not only the movie, but now these events. And you know, times are tough. Times are tense in life and different things. And I always know if I'm down, you know what? I put on Phantom of the Paradise and it always cheers me up. It's just a classic, great movie. I throw on the soundtrack and now I've got all these memories. So I'm gonna die a happy lady, an old lady, let me tell you. With I actually tell people that know me know. I say when I die, I want to watch Phantom of the Paradise or the music soundtrack. And one of the fans actually did that a few years ago. And I told Paul Williams, and I told at one of the events, he actually passed away while watching Phantom of the Paradise, a Winnipeg fan here. But and then I want my ashes. You know how you can get a vinyl record and your ashes in the vinyl? Well, that's what I want. I want to be part of the Phantom of the Paradise soundtrack. That's how much I love it.
oh wow. Before you go, you did
Yeah.
listen to my interview with Saratoga Ballantine. Have you guys
Yep.
ever had her there?
No, I didn't know about her really till I've heard her name mentioned. We would have loved to have had her. We even tried to look for the lady, the receptionist, the Death Records receptionist. We
Uh,
wanted everybody here in 2006. We really looked into it. If I would have known about her, we would have brought her here for sure.
do you want me to connect you with her because I've got her on Facebook?
Yeah, you know what? That would be great because
Mm-hmm.
we do want to do another event,
Mm-hmm.
and Winnipeggers would love that. That would be lovely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just started doing the convention. I'm 49,
Okay.
and it wasn't until 2017 that I even did my first convention. I lived here in New Brunswick my whole life, and
Mm-hmm.
I'd never been outside the province, outside maybe PEI.
Okay.
And speaking of cult films, Lisa Langlois from Class of 1984 was on my show a second time, and we get talking about travel, and she asked what was stopping me, and she was a guest for Horrorama 2017 in Toronto, and she invited me to assist her at her table.
Nice.
So, and she and I have become really good friends, and we're still in touch. And I got the bug. I took Porter Airlines, and I loved it. I'm the only one in my family that's ever been in a plane, and Toronto was quite a bit bigger than New Brunswick here, and I just had a blast. Lisa showed me the ins and outs of the subways and the streetcars, and showed me my Toronto, and it was just really cool to get to know her outside of Class of 1984.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just like you've gotten to know these people from Phantom outside of Phantom, you get to know them.
Yeah. Actually, you just triggered me when you mentioned one last story. If I could throw that in, when you mentioned about the plane, when we were coming back from LA the first time in 2005, actually there was a bad storm and the plane was circling over Winnipeg. It was
Hmm.
ready to come down. It was a wicked storm. Like it was so bad, like the plane was shaking and people were crying on the plane. I remember I was worried and I was sitting beside Doug, a couple of the Phantompalooza committee members, and I remember thinking, Kate, if I have to go down, we it's because of Phantom of the Paradise where we went down. I was scared. And anyway, they ended up diverting us over to, we were so close to home. They ended up diverting us to North Dakota. And
Hmm.
I slept on the floor there. I remember watching a little bug crawl by, but we found out later that the plane actually got hit by lightning. Talk about a bolt like beef. And
Hmm.
yeah, we were lucky. We were very lucky. We actually saw the stewardesses and the pilot come off the plane that night, and the stewardesses were crying. Like it was pretty serious. But we made it through. But I remember thinking to myself, again, if we go down, we did it for the fans and we did it for Phantom of the Paradise. But the plane got hit by lightning, so we made it back.
Hmm. Did Garrett take a plunger to the face?
I don't know if any, again, the fans were giving them, I'm sure he must have took some pictures. He loved it. He loved every second of it. He was our one of the committee members, did an event a few years ago here, and Garrett was featured, and oh, it was incredible. Like, again, just incredible, just fantastic experience.
Have you ever been out this way, New Brunswick, before? Nobody knows where we are.
No, I would love to. I have a best friend in like Nova Scotia and stuff. I haven't
Okay.
been to that side. I've only been like to Toronto and Vancouver, but I'd love to explore more of Canada because it's so beautiful, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, nobody knows where we are. I find we're like parts unknown, and
I was
the
so happy. I was so happy when I found out you're a fellow Canadian too. Like, that's awesome.
yeah, most times what comes to New Brunswick, I often say to people, "Are you familiar with the Trailer Park Boys?" That's about the closest thing I can reference.
Yeah, exactly. But it's got to be cool because you're there.
You know what? I was very happy to have you on here. I'm going to put you on my list for next year.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
And yeah, sorry. Yeah, because I had another thing at 8. So
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, I got to run, but I tried to pack in like little snapshots for you. But absolutely, I have more, and I'll have more stories next year.
Well, that's okay. I've had guests on multiple times, many times.
I'd love to
So
come back on, and maybe with another Phantompalooza committee member or a member of Swanage, because they have their stories too. It's not just
actually,
me.
I have a rule. Here's what I have for a rule.
Hmm?
I usually only have guests on once a year, unless they're on with somebody else.
Ah.
I had comedian Dale Hilton of Kiki Meets the Vampire on earlier this year, and he mentioned that he and his mom do because his mom goes by Hey Metal Mom. So
Hmm.
mom's into heavy metal music, and they got this YouTube channel. I said, I could have you back if your mom's on with you.
There you go.
So if you want to come on even before the end of this year with a committee member, we could work that out, and I can still have you on next year again solo.
Let's do that. That
Let's
sounds great.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, it
That's
just allows me, because if I didn't make that rule, I'd have people try to come on here every week, and
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
No,
So
I thank you. Thank you for so that's why I made the comment, because I know you said, and I forget if it's Archie's or Peter's, you want to hear some Winnipeg stories. I said, you want Winnipeg stories? I got Winnipeg stories. So thank you so much for reaching out. I can't believe in less than a week. See, a thought created the reality of it. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
well, I love this movie too. It's so creative, and like I
You
said,
know
I
what?
was, huh?
There, there is no other movie. Like, to me, Phantom of the Paradise is the movie. Like, there's no other movie. Like, other movies, okay, there's like Body Double, different ones, but I find, like, for Phantom of the Paradise, there's nothing that compares to it to me. Like, it's the number
Oh,
one.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do need to ask one more thing. Do you have
sure.
like merchandise there, like you sell T-shirts or anything?
Well, the band Swanage came up with, they have their shirts with the Death Records Birdie, and I
Mm-hmm.
think our other committee member Zippy, I think he's still got some original Phantom shirts. They're larger sizes, I think, or are they
Good. I
smaller?
I I always wear extra large.
Yeah, so I can't remember. It's either he has like small or extra large, because when we have the events, they bring some stock. So
Okay.
whenever we do an event, we do more merchandise. So there should be some. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know when I'll get to Winnipeg. It took me 45 years to get to Toronto.
Okay.
So but I'll tell you, if you do have it, whether I'm there or not, I'll certainly promote the event. And I
Thank you.
will, yeah, and I'm going to send Saratoga Ballantyne's Facebook address to you so you can connect with her. Feel free to mention me and
Okay.
let her know the backstory, because I'm pretty sure she'd be delighted to do something like this too.
Oh, and I'd love to talk to her too. That sounds great.
One of these,
Okay.
you was one of the Crow girls, and I just, well, they come
I
in there
know.
flapping the wings. Yeah.
No, amazing. She was in that scene. Like I was just listening to before our interview. Like sounds like she was in the Beef Construction song. Like she was one of the
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Like that's amazing. Like
Yep.
oh, that's my
Yep.
favorite scene in the movie. I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite scene, but I'd say that's it for me. Somebody super like you in Life at Last. That's it.
Yes. And of course, Jessica Harper, because she just lovely.
Of course. Of course.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? I'll put you on for next year.
Okay.
But if you have a committee member, I'll have you both on here. If you can get both in front of the same camera,
Yep, we can do that.
yep,
Yep.
then we can do that.
Okay. I look forward to that very much.
Absolutely. I look forward to it too. Thank you so much. We love the Phantom of the Paradise, Phantom in Winnipeg. Gloria, thank you so much. God bless you. And I wish you well. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing this with us.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, Greg.
Absolutely. Take care.
Good night.
Yep. Bye bye.
Bye.